We good? Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. I'm excited to be doing a 7 o'clock in the morning class. We're going to be doing a core flow today. So if we could just get started in child's pose. So you're going to bring your toes together, your knees wider apart, maybe almost as wide as the mat. And then you're just going to bring your forehead to the mat. And then just take a minute to focus on your breathing. Kind of pushing your butt back towards your heels, trying to almost sit on your heels. Lengthening with each inhale. Softening with each exhale. Setting an intention for your class. Since this is a core flow class, you can, strength would be a good one. That's going to be my intention today. So everything we're doing today, I want you to focus on your core. Make sure it's locked tight the whole class. Almost like it's in a mini crunch at all times. All right, on an inhale, everybody lift up on your fingertips, and we're going to walk over to the right just to get a little stretch before we get working. You can stay on your fingertips. As you inhale, you want to lengthen through your left side body. As you exhale, you can bend a little bit deeper. All right, we're going to walk back towards the center. And then exhale as you walk over to your left. Same thing over here. Inhales, lengthen. Exhales allow you to stretch a little bit deeper into your right side body. And then walk back to center. We're going to rise up to tabletop, spreading your fingers out wide. Tops of your feet are flat on the ground, and you're going to inhale, look up. Exhale, round your back. Inhale, look up. Exhale, round your back. You can flow through a few of these at your own pace, moving with your breath. On the inhales, you're looking up, and exhales, you're looking down. Making sure your hands are right underneath your shoulders, knees are underneath your hips. Two more. Just warming up that spine, your core, getting ready to work. All right, let's meet back in tabletop. And we're going to extend the right arm and the left leg, keeping your left foot flat as if it were on a wall. And then we're going to crunch them in on an exhale. And then lengthen as you inhale and crunch it in as you exhale. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze your core. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch it in, squeezing as hard as you can. And then lengthen. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, lengthen. And one more on this side. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Make it your best one. Lengthen. Drop that hand and leg down. And then left hand, right leg, go out. And then you're going to exhale and squeeze them in. Inhale and back out. And exhale them in. Squeezing. Using your core for stability and strength. Inhale back out. Moving with your breath, exhale them in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale in. One more. Inhale back out. Drop that hand and foot. Curl your toes under and move into your first down dog of the day. So in down dog, you want your pointer fingers to be pointing forward. You want your fingers spread as far apart as you can, creating a good base in your hands. Making sure that you're a long line from your head all the way to your tail. You don't want to be over, kind of like you're in a half plank, half down dog, pushing all the way back. Trying to push your tail up towards the sky and sending your heels towards the ground. Just think about how you feel today. Are you tight? Do you usually do yoga in the morning? Do you feel different? Listen to your body. It's telling you something. Shake your head out. You can walk your dog here. By bending one knee in, you'll send the other heel back to the ground, giving that leg a little bit of a deeper stretch. And then looking forward, bending at the knees, and jumping up to meet your hands using your core. Look up for length, drop back down to the earth, and then rise to standing, bringing your arms all the way up above your head. Bring your hands to your heart center, and let's get ready to work. Bring your hands back up over your head, inhaling, and then exhaling, hinge forward from the hips. Planting your hands on the ground and jumping back to plank. We're going to flow through a vinyasa, so you're going to chaturanga down to the ground, slowly lowering, keeping your elbows tucked into your sides. For the first one of the day, you can go up into cobra, or you can go into upward facing dog, just depending on how you're feeling. And then back to downward facing dog. Going to build a little bit of heat here before we work. And then we're going to bend at the knees, look up towards your hands, and jump up. Inhale, look up for length. Exhale, sink back down to the ground. Inhale, your arms high above your head. Bring your hands to your heart center. Exhale. Inhale, your arms back up to the sky. And exhale, hinging forward at the hips. Planting your hands on the ground and jumping back to plank. And then we're going to go through vinyasa, so lower down through chaturanga. You're trying to bring your shoulders right above your hands. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Looking up towards your hands, bending at the knees, jumping up to meet your hands. Inhaling for length. Exhale back to the ground. Inhale your arms above your head. Exhale to heart center. Inhale your arms back up. Take a hold of your left wrist with your right hand. And we're going to do a deep inhale as you straighten all the way through your entire body, and then exhale, bending to the right. So you're getting a left side body stretch. You can look up towards that left hand. And then just sink into it. Your weight should be equal in both feet, pushing out through your left hip. Inhale back to standing. Then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So grab your right wrist with your left hand. Inhale, straighten. And then exhale, bend to the left. Inhale back to standing, and then swan dive, hinging from the hips, exhaling to the ground, planting your hands on the ground and jumping back to plank. And then here we're going to hold plank instead of flowing through our chaturanga. Plank uses a lot of your core. You've got to stay straight, no sinking like this, no trying to go up into a halfway down dog plank. And now we're going to drop down to our right elbow and then our left elbow. Right hand back up, left hand back up, elbow, elbow, hand, hand. Then let's reverse it. So left elbow goes down first, right elbow, left hand, left elbow, left hand, right hand. Reverse it again, right elbow, right hand, left hand. One more time, left elbow, left hand, right hand. And then we're going to flow through Vinyasa, so lower through Chaturanga, upward facing dog, pushing your heart out, exhale, downward facing dog. Yeah, I'm starting to feel warm. Look up towards your hands, bend and jump up to meet them. Inhale for length. Exhale back to the ground. Inhale your arms up above your head. Exhale them to heart center. Make sure your toes are touching. Your heels can be spread out a little bit wider. We're going to go into fierce pose or chair pose, whatever you want to call it. So swing your arms back, knees touching, thighs touching. Kind of tuck your pelvis forward so to take that arch out of your lower back. And look up. Your fingers are strong. You're strong all the way through your arms. You're not getting sloppy, relaxing. This is an active pose in every part of your body. Bring your hands to heart center. We're going to do a twist. So we're going to take our left elbow, inhale, and then exhale that left elbow over your right knee. We're trying to stack our shoulders here. Twist. Every time you exhale, twist a little bit deeper. If you have the arm balance here, you can go ahead and take that. You can open your hands up if you're ready for that, to a deeper twist. Back to heart center. And we're going to go the other way. You can do it. I know your legs are probably shaking. Exhale your right elbow to your left knee. Making sure your knees don't shift when you do this. Open up if you're ready. You can go ahead and take the arm balance if you have the arm balance here. Back to heart center. And then let's open up into set up for Bakasana. So we're going to do an arm balance today. Yes, all of you can do arm balance Bakasana or crow. So for those of you who have never done this before, your toes are going to be kind of closer together. I always come up on my toes. That helps me. Spread your knees wide apart. Plant your hands firmly on the ground. There will be about 2 fists distance between them. And then you're going to bring your knee right above your elbow on each tricep. And then just shift that weight forward very slowly. No big movements here. And then lift one foot up and then the other. Sometimes it takes practice. Sometimes you fall on your forehead. If you don't fall at least once during class, then you're not working hard enough. Anyways, when you're done playing around, you're going to come out of Bakasana by kicking your feet back I can only do it one at a time. If you can do two at a time, good for you. Then we're going to go into side plank. So everybody roll onto your right hand, bringing your left hand up. Don't let your hips sink. You're still a straight line. Your shoulder is still stacked over your elbow and over your hand. You can bring your left hand up. You can keep it down at your side. You can bring your left foot up. You can grab it. You can do whatever you want. Play around here a little bit. This is a strengthening class. It's going to be hard, but you can do it. Back to plank, and then over to the other side. Make sure you've got a good base with that left hand. Left side. Oop. Apparently I have even worse balance in the morning. Hands back down to plank, and then push back up into downward dog. Oh, that feels good to get off my arms. They were tired. A lot of times in a core flow class, my arms get just as tired as my abs do because it requires so many push-ups and planks. All right, let's inhale that right leg up. Look towards your hands, and then bring that right leg through to Crescent Pose. For this first one, you can do low crescent if you'd like. That means bringing your left leg or your left knee to the ground, pushing out, bringing your hands up. Moving with your breath, sinking in. Your back heel is up off the floor. Back leg is very straight, pushing that heel back out. Looking up. Then we're going to open up into Warrior B. Exhale. In Warrior B, your right heel is in line with your left arch, and you're looking out over your right fingers. Reverse Warrior. Looking up at that right hand. Straighten your front leg, reverse triangle. Back to Warrior B. Straighten your front leg, hinging forward from the hips, bringing your fingers as far forward on an equal plane as you can, and then dropping them down to the ground. Triangle pose. In triangle pose, you're trying to stack your shoulders over each other. This is a very good place for a core workout because you can bring your hands overhead like this. This requires a lot of core strength. And it also makes sure you have good form for when you're not in trying to improve your core strength. But it makes sure you're not dumping into your hands. You're staying strong in your core. Back to Warrior B. Windmill your hands down to the ground. Bring that right foot back to meet the left. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale that left leg up. We forgot to do crunches on the right side, but we'll make up for that later. So we're going to exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, back high to the sky. Exhale and bring your left knee to your right elbow. Inhale, back to the sky. Exhale, bring your left knee to your left elbow. Hold it, and then step through to warrior or to crescent pose. Do whatever you did on the other side. If you went into low crescent for this first one, make sure you're doing that on this side. Back leg is straight, strong, pushing through that heel. Still moving with your breath here. We're going to spin that back foot down and open up to warrior B. So your right foot is at a 90-degree angle, and then your left heel is lined up with the arch of your right foot. Arms are spread out. You're looking over that left hand. Drop your right hand to your right thigh. Inhale that arm, your left arm overhead. Look up towards it and breathe. Sinking deeper if you can. Straighten your left leg, reverse triangle. Back to warrior B. And then from warrior B, tilt forward from the hips. Lower body doesn't move. Arm doesn't really change in height. It just moves forward like somebody's pulling it with a string. And then straighten your right leg and straighten your left leg. Drop your left hand to the ground. Triangle pose. You can bring both arms up like this. Work on that core strength. Back to warrior B. Exhale your hands to the ground. Step back to plank. Exhale through chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Any standing pose or twisting pose is going to use your core. Inhale that right leg up. And then forward, we're going into warrior A here. So your right or left foot will be at a 45-degree angle, and your heels will be lined up this time. And then you're going to turn your hips towards your front knee instead of towards the side of your mat. You're turning towards the front of your mat. And then inhale your arms up to the sky. Straight and strong through your back leg. And then exhale those hands back. Inhale them high, core strong. Exhale back. Back up to the sky. Exhale back. Inhale your arms back up. Exhale them behind you. Hold them. Bring them out to your side like wings. Then we're going to pop up into warrior C. Right leg strong, core is strong. Hips are parallel to the ground. You can do whatever hand position you like. I'm going to move back just a little bit. You can do hands at heart center. Make sure your back foot is flat, not pointing. Flat like it's on a wall. Bring your right hand to the ground. Open up into half moon. This, you can really work your core here, and that will help your balance a lot.
We want to work on floating that right hand. And then we're going to switch and we're going to go into reverse half moon. So your left hand is on the ground, right hand's high in the sky. Hips are still parallel to the ground. Exhale, drop your right hand to the ground. Standing splits. And then bring that left foot down to the ground to meet your right one. And then we're going to jump back to plank and flow through Vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Left heel to the sky. And then exhale towards your hands. We're going to go into Warrior A. So spin that right foot flat at a 45-degree angle. Line your heels up. Inhale your hands high to the sky. And try and get those hips parallel to the front of your mat. Back leg straight, arms are strong. Exhale your arms behind you. Inhale them back up. Exhale behind you. Inhale back up. Exhale behind. Inhale back up to the sky. Exhale behind you. Out like wings. Shift your weight into your front leg and hop up into Warrior C. And I know a lot of you guys know that my left leg is my weak leg after breaking my kneecap. So my left side's always harder for me than my right. Keeping your right foot flat like it's on a wall. Bring your left hand down to the ground. Open up, trying to stack those hips and shoulders in half moon. Keeping your core strong here. If you're ready, you can look up towards your hand. I'm not ready for that. Exhale your right hand to the ground. Inhale your left hand up for reverse half moon. This isn't hard for you guys. Then I don't know what to do. Oh, standing splits. So bring that right foot high up to the sky. You can grab the back of your left ankle. Stretch in a little bit. You feeling warmed up yet? Good, because the warm-up's over. Jump back to plank. Chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. And this time when we look up towards our hands, we're going to jump all the way through to seated. I'm going to grab a quick sip of water. We're going to do some core work here. Are you guys having fun yet? Isn't this a good way to start the day? I'm not a morning workout person, but whenever I do, it feels so good. All right, bring your legs straight in front of you. You can move the meat from underneath your sit bones. Your legs are so strong and active here that your heels are lifting up off of the floor. We're going to try and do stick pose or floating stick pose. So legs are strong. You're going to put your arms right by your thighs. You're going to kind of bend over, and you're going to keep your core so strong, like you're doing crunches right here, that you're going to lift up off the ground. Lift your butt up, and then try and get your heels up off the ground. Even if you can't, you're still getting the same benefits. It's not going to happen for me today after all those warriors, but we'll give it one more try. Inhale, exhale, lift. Then back down. We're going to roll onto our backs for some Yogi Bicycles. So your hands are underneath your neck, elbows out wide that you can hardly see them in your peripheral vision. You take your shoulder. I always think about bringing my shoulder to my opposite knee. Make sure your lower back is flat on the floor anytime you're doing any core work on the ground. As I extend my leg, I exhale. As I pull it back in, inhale. Bring them both out. Scissors. Oh yeah, there's the burn. All right, flat on your backs. I always like to support my lower back. I just kind of bring my thumbs underneath my very low back. Legs straight out. We're going to bring them to the sky. And then when you try and raise your whole butt off the ground when you bring your legs up, but do it controlled. Like you're trying to bring your feet to the sky, not bring your butt off the ground. That's kind of how I think about it. Exhale as you bring your legs up. Couple more, you can do it. Smile. When it hurts the most, that's when you need your smile the most. And then grab behind your knees. Swing yourself up into boat pose. Depending on where you are today and how tired you are, you may have your legs bent like this. You might be straight, holding on the backs of them. You might be letting go, free floating. My legs are shaky. And then bring your hand to heart center. We're going to dip our elbows to each side. Exhale as you go. Oh, you can keep going if you want. I need a little bit of a break. And then back to boat pose, finishing up right here. Finish strong. Back straight, you're not sinking into your back like this. You're using your core. If you gotta use your hands, you have to use them. But don't use your arms so much that you're forgetting to use your core. Keeping yourself strong and straight. Shaking is good. And then we're gonna jump back to plank and go through Vinyasa. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. You guys are doing awesome. Stick with it. We're almost there. How does this down dog feel? Probably a lot different. Inhale your right foot up. Exhale it to your hands. We're going to go into Warrior B, so spinning that left foot to 90 degrees. We're going to bring your right elbow to your right knee, left hand up overhead, side angle pose. You're probably warm enough now that if it's in your practice, you can bring your right hand to the ground. Looking up towards your hand, still trying to open your heart center. And then on an exhale, I'm going to spin my right foot so that it's parallel with my left foot. And then exhale your head to the ground. And we're going to come into headstand. You can take a second, move to a wall if you want to. I'd like everybody to try headstand today. So we'll just give everybody a moment to move, find some wall space if they need wall space. You can start about 6 inches away from the wall. You don't want to be right up against it. Put your head flat on the ground, and then using your core strength, lift your legs up. And then since this is a core workout today, let's bring our legs halfway down and then back up using our core, halfway down. You can hold them here if you want. But don't let yourself lose your core strength. You gotta stay strong in your core. You don't want to slouch. And then you can come out of headstand whenever you're ready by using your core to bring your feet back to the ground, not gravity. You are in control. And then back up. Go to crescent. From crescent, we'll do pigeon. So you can kind of shimmy that right foot out. And then your right knee will be farther out than your right hip. Left leg straight all the way through the back. Left foot is flat before you sink into pigeon. Inhale, look up, and then lead with your chest to the ground. The goal of pigeon is to have our front leg parallel with the front of our mat. I've come a really long way, but I'm definitely not quite there yet either. But that's the beauty of yoga. It's our evolving practice. Our body naturally wants to clench up in our hips when we're in pigeon. So be aware of that. And send your breath to that area and relax it. I have to consciously re-relax my hip many times in pigeon. If this pose is really easy for you, you can make it harder by lifting your left toes up, and that will actually send you a little bit deeper into that right hip. Anyways, we're going to come back out now. We're going to do either half splits or full splits, depending on what's in your practice. Half splits, you would kind of come back like this, keeping your hips even. It's kind of like a hamstring stretch over your right leg. Full splits if you have it, which I am still working on, but I'm almost there. Straight legged out. Smile and love it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120 Then we're going to walk out of it, swing that foot back, plank, lower down through chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then we're going to do left side, and then we're done. Well, almost done. Promise. So left leg up. Step it through your hands into warrior B, spinning that left leg to 90 degrees, inhaling up. Dropping your left elbow to your left knee, inhaling that right arm above your head. You can drop all the way to the ground if you have that in your practice. Sinking into those hips. Still opening up your chest. You're not sinking into it like this, keeping it open. That's why we look up. And then exhale that hand to the ground. Spin your left foot to be parallel with your right. If you need to take a second to move to a wall so you can try headstand, go ahead and take that time now. For the rest of us, we're going to bring the crown of our head where we would wear a crown, very top of it, to the ground. Hands flat on the floor. Use your core to lift them up. Bring your feet together, using your core. Bend. Trust me, I really think all of you can do this. If you've not done headstand yet, today is your day. I almost fell out right there. I gotta keep my core strong. Using the strength of your core, bring your feet back down to the ground. Back into crescent. And then we're going to kind of heel walk our left foot out, making sure our left knee is wider than our left hip. Right leg is straight. Inhale. And then leading with the chest, fall over that left leg. If you have back pain or if this bothers your knee, there is a variation where you can do it on your back. And that looks like this because pigeon's such a common pose. I think you need to know the variation if you have an issue with your knee or back. So you would be laying on your back. For those of you who don't need this, just stay in pigeon for now. Laying on your back, take your left leg and put your left ankle over your right heel. So you've kind of got like the shape of a 4 or triangle with your legs. Bring your right leg up. Put your arms around your right thigh and then just pull it towards you. You can kind of use your left elbow to push on your left knee, and that will give you the same benefit as pigeon, just easier on the knee. Make sure you're thinking about that left hip, sending your breath there, relaxing it, noticing if it's getting tight again. Pigeon isn't a place for your mind to wander. You're still connected to your body here. There's still a lot of work going on even when you're not moving. If any pose in yoga hurts, don't do it. It's not meant to hurt. There's always a variation or something else you can do to get the same benefit. And then coming out of pigeon, you can go into half splits or full splits depending on what is in your practice. So you would either be over your bent right leg, bending over your left straight leg, or into full splits. Yoga is not about being able to do the splits or do handstand or do any of the cool poses, although it's fun. That's why we practice, is to advance, become more connected with our bodies, understand them a little bit better. But really it's just about coming to your mat and spending some time to do something good for you. If you are in full splits, you can bend over your left front leg if you're ready for something deeper. And then we're all going to meet on our backs, so however you want to get there is fine. And we just have bridge and shoulder stand left. So in bridge, bring your heels as close to your butt as you can, and then you're just going to lift up through your hips. I always do 3 either bridges or upward facing bow. For me, I always start with bridge, and then I'll do upward facing bow for the next 2, or back bend, whatever you want to call it. Don't let your knees flop apart when you're in this. You can keep your hands flat by you. You can kind of walk onto your shoulders a little bit and clasp your hands underneath, always pushing your hips higher. And then back down to the ground. If you're going to do bridge again, just pop back up into bridge whenever you're ready. For those of you that are going to do upward facing bow, put your hands by your ears and pop up whenever you're ready. And hold. Back down to the ground. Hug it in. Roll around. And then one more. You can do it. One more. Pop back up whenever you're ready. Back down to the ground. Hug it in, roll around, massage your spine. And then rock up to seated. Anytime you do bridge pose, you always want to do an opposite pose. Move the meat out from underneath your sits bones. Inhale your arms high to the sky. And then exhale, folding over your straight legs. Grabbing your feet if you can. If you can do that, bring your elbows to the ground. Whenever you inhale, think about straightening, and whenever you exhale, think about diving your chest a little bit deeper. And then we'll meet back on our backs. And we'll go into plow pose. So bringing your legs overhead, toes can touch the ground over your head, support your lower back with your hands. If this hurts your neck, don't do it. And then whenever you're ready, Bring your legs up above for shoulder stand. And then back, bend your knees back towards your ears for ear pressure pose. And then slowly, whenever you're ready, roll out of it, vertebrae by vertebrae. Your core is still working here. And we're going to come to our final resting pose, Shavasana. So spread your legs out about as wide as your mat. Get yourself comfortable, do whatever you need, fix your clothes, put something over your eyes to make it a little bit darker. Put your hands out by your sides, your palms up. It's a symbolic gesture that you're ready to receive everything that you just practiced for. All that core strength, peace of mind, whatever it was. And then just kind of scan your body and progressively relax everything, even relaxing your tongue. You can even forget about that yoga breathing, the pranayama. If a thought comes into your mind, go ahead and finish that thought. But then on your next exhale, exhale it away. We spend time working our bodies really hard so we can get to this place where we can hopefully relax for a moment. Our bodies are physically tired. Our mind has been active in our practice for the last 55 minutes or so. Shavasana. I've read before that Shavasana should be 15 minutes at a minimum to get its full benefits. We're not going to do a 15-minute Shavasana today. I know most of you probably have to go to work or school like I do. So whenever you're ready, just kind of come back into your body, become aware again of how the air feels around you, what it feels like to be you now. Do you feel different than you did at the beginning of your practice? Wiggle your fingers and your toes. And then whenever you're ready, inhale your arms above your head. Big stretch. And then roll over onto your right side, keeping your eyes closed. Push yourself up to seated position, any comfortable seated position whenever you're ready. You can bring your hands to heart center. You can keep them out on your knees, whatever you want. So just take this good feeling that you've created and bring it out with you wherever you go. It's the benefit of practicing in the morning. You start your day feeling good. Namaste. Thanks for being with me. I'll see you guys soon, probably next week sometime.